Well, hello everyone. Welcome to our grand final for season 5. My name is Tomo, and like all season, I am joined by Calamity. How are you today?
Hello, I'm doing good. Melting, but doing good otherwise. How are
Yeah,
you?
summer is definitely in full swing, and I am doing pretty good. I have a new air conditioner in my office, so I'm actually feeling great.
Good for you.
Yeah, unfortunately, you don't have one. They're pretty nice. But anyway, yeah, we have BOKSA and Raidman for the third year in a row. Well, rather, third season in a row. These two are our finalists, and they made quick work of their semifinalists to get here, two Frenchmen. And we'll take a look at their stats from the regular season, both of them having very good records over the whole season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Raidman is not even 200 points away from a perfect average. So that just goes to show how many points he got every time. Out of curiosity, did you take out the yellow card for him out of those average points, or did you include that in them?
Again, yeah, it's not included in this one. So yeah, his only loss the whole season was when he decided to sit out Russia.
Still, you could see with the record that he's had quite a bit less luck than BOKSA in the opponents he was facing. Had three draws compared to BOKSA's one. BOKSA still with a very, very good average score as well. I think definitely not playing Russia helped Raidman's average score, if anything, because I think BOKSA dropped. Which week was Russia again? Russia was week 6 and BOKSA dropped. Well, he dropped 14 points there. Never mind. He dropped 880 points in week 4, which was Australia. I think those were the yeah. Australia was the main place where BOKSA dropped a lot of points. I think there was one other, yes, in week 7 on a hard world, of course. He dropped another 3,400 points, and apart from that, he was pretty much perfect or close to perfect. And yeah, just three more aces for BOKSA. Again, with Raidman sitting out Russia, that's about even, I would say. Total score, again, if Raidman had gotten around 22,000 points in Russia, then that would also be the same. So overall, they've had very similar seasons, I would say. And yeah, seems all set for a very exciting close final again.
Indeed, as we take a look at the maps they have picked for this one, we'll notice that nothing has changed from the season 4 final. But yeah, Calamity, with how these three maps do play out and how close these two are together, the same three maps does not guarantee a similar result at all.
Yeah, definitely not. They were separated by just very few points. Basically, in both of their finals so far, the season 3 final was even closer, where I think like combined they dropped 5 points or something ridiculous like that over the course of the three maps. Last season we had a few more, but overall, still, it could really go either way, and even more so than already is usually the case where just one round, a bit of bad luck can decide everything. Here it definitely can and definitely will because, these two are the kinds of players where even on a map they might not like that much, you wouldn't expect them to make any big mistakes. So on the maps that they themselves picked, you'd be hard pressed to find any kind of rounds in those areas where they probably wouldn't get a 5K or at least close to it.
Yes, it's really going to come down to how they can handle those long straight roads, especially in Germany. A lot of the coverage is on highways. That could be a bit tricky. Weird coverage in the sense that what you see doesn't match up with the map in terms of things change or just the map is wrong. So those weird things, how they're able to be able to adjust for those are really going to decide things. And yeah, we could even see this come down to three perfect games and being decided on time, which is our first tiebreaker, and then our second one is distance. So, if I think time will probably be able to separate them. I doubt they're going to get the exact same time on a map.
Yeah,
But who knows? It might be within a second or two, and so distance might be a more a fair time splitter, draw splitter for them in this case, anyways. But yeah, we don't know. So right before we jump into this one, Calamity, who you picking?
I'm not picking. Who are you picking?
Picking. Um, I mean, BOKSA has not dropped anything. Like, he is as good as he was last season, and he has won a few competitions in the meantime. Raymond, of course, always on top, but just often not the number one. So if I have to pick someone, it's BOKSA. But I mean, this could come down to a matter of seconds and centimeters, let alone meters. So it's really anybody's ball game. But I'll throw my coin into the BOKSA camp here, and we'll see we'll see if it comes out my way or not for this one. Yeah, but let's jump right in then to round number 1 in Germany, starting with BOKSA's map pick. And well, here we go. Major road. Beautiful sign.
Zentrum Schönefeld. And a sign towards Halle as well. BOKSA already. I'm assuming that's the main reason he recognized it being Leipzig. I don't think there's anything else that particularly points to it, unless you, I suppose, know the districts of Leipzig. But you have plenty of road numbers as well, so even if you wouldn't recognize any of the towns on that, then you'd still be able to figure out which city it is relatively quickly.
Yeah, we are on a bit of a straight road, but it's not an empty highway. There's lots of things around them, especially even a train station not too far away. Even on the map there, you can.
Yeah, mainly to the south is where you're going to find your reference points at the starting location. The north is relatively, I mean, it's slightly covered by trees, as you can see there from Raidman's screen. There's train tracks in a way. So you're going to be looking at the buildings to the south, mostly.
I think already with about half our time gone. Remember, there are only 3-minute rounds, so coming up on that 1 minute 30 mark, and they're both on the same road. Just a matter of pinpointing this one, and it is a little bit tricky using some of those buildings side roads. Yeah, they're pinned in the same spot. 7 meters for BOKSA and Ace, 5 meters for Raidman. Guessing in almost the exact same time there, down to the second. So it might come down to seconds to really separate them. 2 meters, though, also separating them, despite a perfect score for both. Yeah, it's kind of what we should expect from a German round there, though. Calamity City, plenty of signs, and just a matter of pinpointing, really, for these two.
Yeah, exactly. And Germany is mostly going to play out like that. There are some locations that are a bit more, I'm going to call them obscure. They're still in urban areas mostly, but if you go in like, I don't know, 5 kilometers outside of the city center in some sort of suburb, it can be a bit more difficult to tell. But here we were pretty much not exactly in the city center of Leipzig, but on a major road connecting you to it. So you're never going to have too much trouble with that, especially players like these. So the only potentially challenging part there was getting the pinpointing off correctly, and in another way, I guess, getting it off quickly enough, because I guess at this point they are both expecting it to come down to time. So you don't want to waste any seconds, but at the same time, you want to be sure enough and secure enough with your pinpoint to ensure that you're not dropping any points, because then your time doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, unlike the regular season, it's not a within 100 points for a draw. Every single point counts. So 24,999 will cost you the game no matter how long or how fast you go. So it's perfect, but also how fast can you be perfect? We'll jump into round number 2. And of course, another urban setting with plenty of buildings blurred out. You didn't know
Yep.
we were in Germany, you do now.
Meckenheimer Allee. Not sure that would necessarily give you a specific region of the country. BOKSA seems to think so.
Yeah, at least putting this in that western part of the country around the former German, or rather West German capital.
I mean, he may well have looked at the architecture and put it there because of that, and not because of the street name.
Yeah, there was a little something underneath that sign. Oh, there's Bonn.
Yep, there we go.
That'll do it. On several trucks, so that will give Raidman his clue. Maybe BOKSA even caught one of those quickly at the start. He didn't quite catch.
There's a nice little park or something similar to it.
Not too
or
far from
Raidman.
Star. Yeah, and Box has got it along his sort of westerly side of that road. Oop, that's a weird jump. So again, being in the suburb, town is pretty easy. There are road names, but you've got to figure out what part of town you're in to even start looking as we hit that halfway mark.
Yeah,
There's a
essentially you
couple
want to
signs for Raidmen there.
find either signs like that for the botanical garden and a castle over there somewhere that point you in at least somewhat the right direction. You can see the botanical garden is very big there on Box's map, and he's just put his pin right in there. And if you can't find that, usually you're gonna be fine with a major road in the city. There's also a sign there to the main train station. It says they're on that bus stop for Raidman, so probably not too far away from that either.
Bahnhof. So that'll help them out. And they've got plenty of street names as well to keep in mind. But we are getting about that 30-second mark now. And it does look like Box has got a pretty good beat on it. And Raidman not too far behind, 5 meters away for Boxa this time. And a few seconds faster than Raidman, who, as long as he doesn't move his pin, he is in the right spot. It'll take a few more seconds just to make sure. 6 meters away from him, and he clicks very fast. Oops, that's way too far back. There we go. Never mind. Well, yeah, he goes way too fast for me to even stop the video at the right place. But yeah, 2 perfect rounds from them. Took a little bit longer than the first one, but, you know, not too difficult at all.
Yeah, Bonn isn't exactly the biggest city either, even if it is the former capital. So you're probably not going to have too much trouble trying to find these specific roads. I'm assuming that you probably could have even found them without too many issues if you hadn't found any of the big roads, but just by scouring the map for like 2.5 minutes after the point where you found Bonn. But obviously, it's not really a good strategy, but just saying it might have still worked.
Nice. Well, into round number 3, still perfect. Pretty close on distance as well as time. I think we don't get to see time, unfortunately, total time at least. Box, I think, a few seconds ahead after that round 2 guess. There we go. Dortmund, the 57, not too far away. You could actually be almost in the exact same place.
Yeah, I think Raidman went past that sign pointing him towards Köln and some of the suburbs there. So he goes back, sees it, and
yeah, just a little bit northwest of our round 2 location, but that's kind of normal for German coverage.
And Box is already done.
Yep, the off-ramp / on-ramp will be very helpful. Got to check those big road signs to give you exactly which of these you are on. One up there. There we go. And yeah, Boxa 11 meters away. Definitely trying to go as fast as he can. And drop a few meters, but as long as he's fast, that's okay. So 3 perfect rounds out of him. And Raidman honing in, though. We can see on the right location. Just jump back to confirm it. Make sure this does look right. Yep, to the northwest is that major road. Ooh, now we can't get back. Thankfully, there is that return to start button.
Yeah. There is also an undo move button, which will return you to the last position you were in.
He will spend his time, but he will... And we already know, but he is within an ace of this. Actually, how many meters can you be off in Germany and still get...
24 is the definite one. Might sometimes be enough with 25, depending on rounding and stuff like that, but 24 if you want to be safe. So you can definitely drop points here if you're not careful.
Yep. That on-ramp, off-ramp is long enough to cause problems, so you want to make sure you're the right amount. And like we said, time doesn't matter if you drop points. So, Raidman, I'm gonna spend that time, check those road names. Yep, that's the road. Curve is way back there. Be happy with that. 3 meters away. Very nice from him. Another ace. So, yeah, 3 rounds. Nothing to separate them but time so far, Calamity. And this is how it was last season. So, probably what we should be expecting here as well.
Yeah, and BOKSA does have the advantage based on time, but he's still got to get through 2 more rounds with a perfect score. If he does manage to do that, he's probably in a good place to win his map pick. And you're always, I don't want to say always, but you're more likely to be faster on your own map pick if it's something that you're very familiar with, such as your home country, for example. And yeah, so far he's shown that.
Nice. Well, we'll jump into round number 4. 15,000 all. And said Cologne on there. Oh, yeah, they both zoom right on in. So we didn't travel very far at all between those 2 rounds.
Yep.
A bit of a more downtown location.
Yeah, you say downtown. It's sort of given me a bit of a suburb vibe. Like, not super far outside, but it doesn't look like a city center.
Yeah, I gotta
Or at
forget.
least
European cities are just built taller.
yeah, at least
like
definitely.
American would look at this and say, "Oh, this must be like downtown because look at all these tall buildings close to each other." But
Yeah, definitely wouldn't be the city center of a city like Cologne. Like, if it
yeah,
was a smaller city, then you could imagine that. But
Cologne just played host actually to a big CS:GO tournament, so these
yep,
two getting a bit of a taste of that.
which BOKSA actually visited, so
Oh.
he may be familiar with the city more so than he was before.
I was just here.
Yeah, there's some more confirmation for Raidman if he wasn't sure already that it is Cologne, and signs for the 51 and the 9.
There's the 9 on his screen. The zoo also not too far away. And they're both hunting in the same area, and actually their pins are almost in identical places right now.
Raidman's seen a street he saw earlier, Stammheimerstraße, is one that he came across and specifically looked at. And yeah, Box is pretty much in a very similar place.
A bit further southwest right now. They've got those street names, and it's just a matter of looking at these. Yeah, that store name says Cologne right there on it too. So,
which one?
Right at the start, it said
yeah,
Kölner something.
Kölner Bank. So it's a bank, which doesn't always necessarily mean that Fox's
yeah,
map's not loading.
Oh no.
Doesn't always mean that you're in there. I mean, for people who found the Santander Bank in the past, doesn't necessarily mean you're in Santander. The Zurich insurance is also a good example of that, but Raidman will get his pin in the right spot. And
just a few seconds behind him, BOKSA as well. So 4 perfect rounds, and time also pretty close, but BOKSA, I would assume, has a slight lead in this one.
Yes.
So we come down to the final round, Calamity. Is it going to be able to separate them or not? That is, of course, the big question.
I think BOKSA has about a 1.5 minute lead in time, I want to say. Something around that mark. So as long as he can 5k the last location and Raidman isn't super fast, he should be fine.
Yeah. Well, let's see what he can do. And we'll jump into the final location. And boy.
Yep.
If
that's definitely not a city center.
Yeah, I'm about to say, if the last one was not a city center, this one definitely isn't. Going to even be a bit tricky to move around in this one.
Reminds you a bit of America with their suburbs. Bochum. Which I think is a suburb of some city. I wouldn't be able to tell you which. I mean, obviously I know, but
all I know is it's somewhere in that big mess of cities that we've been in for 3 rounds already.
They have
they have a decent football team.
Yeah. No, that's Bochum, not Bochum.
Oh, sorry.
A
My
different
spelling.
place. I could have told you where Bochum is.
Okay.
Um, but
That confused
Rainman actually saw on one of those bus stops, he saw something that said Rheinbahn, which
me.
would put you somewhere along the Rhine, I assume at least,
Mm.
which probably puts you
There
in
we go.
an
Leaving
oh well
Dusseldorf.
that
So
helps.
if it wasn't
Düsseldorf.
clear, there we go.
And Angermund is 4 kilometers to the north, which should give you a pretty good indication. I'm
Yeah.
not sure where BOKSA is going
Yeah,
at
I was
this
about to say,
point.
I
Like,
hope he's not trying to click 4 kilometers to get there.
I'd be looking at the map at this point.
And they both are again about that 1.5 minute time. Jumping in there looking for the smaller districts on the outskirts, of course.
Yeah.
And yeah, there is a dead end on that road, so that will prevent either of them from heading off into the.
Raidman's trying to click past it somehow, but
Just
I don't
checking.
think, like, even if you could, I don't think there'd be any
Mm,
particular use in going that way.
yeah.
I'm surprised they both try to.
Perhaps
There
there
is actually
was.
Angermund on BOKSA. BOKSA's just seen it.
There we go. But he's got a better grip on the round. But again, coming down, this is
Yeah,
definitely throwing him.
Raidman's just
Oh,
found it as well, though.
there we go. They're literally like seconds apart. Every single one of these rounds. One or the other is just a few seconds ahead. Now scanning the neighborhood looking for the correct road. Raidman thinks God, there is a roundabout at the start, which will be interesting. Box has picked a roundabout, but not really happy with that. There's the
Yeah.
road name for Raidman, but definitely a big loop.
There it
Yeah,
is for
10
Box
seconds.
as well. Raidman's got it. Boxer
And
doesn't quite. He's on the northeastern edge of
on the
it,
wrong
which
side
he
and
doesn't
not.
seem to realize. Ah.
Oh, and that's 4 points for him. Boxa clicks very, very fast. Way at the end of the video. See if I can pause at the right time. But yeah, that's really unfortunate. They're 4 meters away for Raidman. 5,000 points for him. I think Boxa just got really confused when he was staring at a roundabout and there was no roundabout.
Yeah.
He did get thrown off a bit, like he knew he was in this loop, but just misjudged what part of that loop he was on. And then that literally that 2 or 3 seconds of, wait a minute, where is the roundabout? Just cost him that
That
little stutter step
that
right there.
that might actually be. If I'm gonna blame something, that might be. You might be able to blame that on a compass. He's
Mm.
using the new in quotation marks compass,
Yeah,
and that doesn't
let's jump.
instantly make it obvious which
Let's
way
jump
north is.
back and watch that again. We can. That's the beauty of YouTube. We can rewind live. In the last 20 seconds or so, he's there at the top of the corner. He's looking at this. It's pointing to the north.
Yeah, maybe he also just wasn't really paying attention to it too much, because if you have the old compass, it's very obvious that which way the red arrow is pointing at.
Yeah.
And here up there, he is looking north, but it's not like it becomes instantly obvious that you know that is what
Yeah,
you're looking at, as long
Raidman
as you
is
don't
using
read
the
the
new.
letter.
Yeah, he is using the new compass, and as you can see, he sees the road head south from where he is, and he takes that as it's going south, and so he puts us on that far corner. Box adjusts, maybe because of that roundabout. He's like, well, there's something north. Yeah, I think he maybe gets confused by that corner, where obviously there's a corner at that road, but it's a roundabout that looks different than an actual like just 90-degree turn.
Yeah.
So that just throws
I
him off.
think
Really unfortunate.
I think if there was an actual roundabout there, then he would have easily gotten it as well.
Yeah.
But I do also think that he had plenty of time to get it anyway.
Mm.
So if we're going to actually see a mistake by either of those two, then that is probably it. That is
Yeah.
just, a genuine mistake.
Yeah, just split second hesitation. Have to kind of adjust your own mental compass in this case, and just ran out of time. Basically, maybe 10 more seconds would have been all he needed to properly adjust himself, but unfortunately, he runs out. So that
That's
means...
actually, before you
Sorry,
go on,
go ahead.
you just brought me an idea. That's actually something that could be interesting as sort of a format where it's not like you have 3 minutes per round, but you have a specific set of time, like 15 minutes, and you just have to complete all 5 rounds in those 15 minutes. And it doesn't matter if you take like 10 seconds more in one round if you can save them on another. That would actually be interesting.
We could adjust the time for that. Yeah, that would be really cool. Just say, hey, you got, you have to play this whole map in this time, and you can save it on easy rounds and save it for harder rounds. So, yeah, developers, get on that. Anyways, yeah, a big shock here in Germany. Raidman stealing BOKSA's map pick out from under his nose in literally the last 5 seconds of the last round. Who would have guessed that one? Yeah, well, certainly not me, because I picked BOKSA to win, but he's already down one map after the first one. So we will be right back as we get set up for map number 2 and Raidman's pick in Lower Silesia in Poland. Well, as you can see on your screen, that's how things finish up in Germany. 9 perfect rounds. Yeah, there we go. And only 1 round off for BOKSA on that last one, dropping 4 points. Hands the victory to Raidman. And so, yeah, Calamity, we move on to Lower Silesia for our next one. So, yeah, I think this one is going to be an 0-2, or is Raidman going to be able to steal back BOKSA's map?
The other way around. But yeah, it's going to be very difficult for BOKSA now because he'll need Raidman to make a mistake. I don't think he can claw it back on time alone. Raidman isn't exactly the fastest player, but I still think in his home province of Lower Silesia that he should be able to get a faster time than BOKSA on average. I mean, we don't know the seed yet, but that's what I expect at least. So yeah, BOKSA needs a mistake by Raidman. I think otherwise we might already be done here.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll bring you all 3 games regardless, just so you can see how they play out and check out those interesting locations. Or that's what you all want to see. Not only who wins. So yeah, let's jump into map number 2 in Lower Silesia. Raidman's map pick. And, well, at least round 1 isn't too bad. We start off in an urban setting.
Yep. Seems like reasonably easy to pinpoint as well, so that shouldn't be a major issue. You've got some road names as well here everywhere, and that sign that BOKSA has there seems useful. But you can't get any good information out of it. I wasn't specifically talking about the sign that he looked at, but actually the one to the right of it.
There's it on the big sign if you couldn't read it before. And Raidman also picked it up on the streetcar.
There it is as well on the bus stop or tram stop. I'm not quite sure as well.
Plenty of places.
Yep.
Major thoroughfare through the city as Raidman looking some of those yellow roads, and yeah, already only a minute, he's pretty much got it. It's in his opinion. That small side road is going to be a little bit tricky to pick the right one, but looks pretty happy with that.
It's relatively unique with the sort of T intersection there as well, and he has the street names very close by on that house to the west that he just went to again, so it should be pretty clear. While BOKSA seems to be looking to find potentially more signs that point him to which side of the city he's on.
And in the meantime, Raidman will guess pretty early, using about half his time and ace 2 meters away, that unique little intersection. And yeah, you're seeing already in round number 1 how much more familiar maybe Raidman is with this region. BOKSA's got lots of information, just a little bit longer time putting 2 and 2 together here. But as of right now, he's got it. In the right area, at least. He's got 45 seconds, so he's still got to pinpoint this one, because remember, every single point dropped is going to be really hard to make up. You're already down a map. Don't want to make it any easier for Raidman.
He's looking at the right place. Yeah, he should see the street name now as well. He's looked at it about 5 seconds, well, 15 seconds ago. And yeah, he's probably going to confirm. He probably already knows that he's not going to beat Raidman on time here anyway. So he just wants to make sure he gets the 25K.
Yep. And does that indeed, at least in the first round. 5 meters, 6, not 5 meters, 5,000 points and 6 meters away. An ace for both of them. But yeah, already Raidman looking very strong on his home map.
Yeah, I would assume I said he probably knows he wasn't going to beat Raidman. I don't think that's something he went into it with. Like, obviously, if the first few rounds go super quickly, you're going to take that chance and maybe go with it. But he was in a major city, and it already took him well over 2 minutes to pinpoint it. So you'd probably expect Raidman to have been quite a bit faster with that. So I think at this point he knows that's time wise it's not going to be too close unless we see a round that might heavily depend on which way you go, and BOKSA ends up being the luckier on that. But yeah,
and we'll see. Well, we'll jump on in to round number 2, and very different sort of scenery. Another little town, but much more mountainous. At least it feels like it. Thicker forest.
There's already a city name for Raidman there.
Very familiar with that. BOKSA just ran right past it.
Yep, it was pretty difficult to spot. I don't think I saw it myself when I played through the seed. But it is one of the more famous towns in that region down there in the south.
It does look like a very beautiful tourist destination. Definitely would love to spend some time here.
We also had a round there in that town in the regular season seed for Division 1. So should be familiar with it, both of them.
Maybe things will start to look familiar to BOKSA the more he explores around. In the meantime, Raidman just trying to hone in on exactly where they might be in this town. Not too far from a very historical district. Oh, there's the town name on some flags, and BOKSA will catch that. He's got to remember where it is, though. Around here somewhere.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
On his map. Yep. A bit of an overcorrection there with the mouse, but he's got it.
In the meantime, it looks like Raidman's pretty much got the road. This is a little bit more tricky in the sense that there are no names readily available, but those hotels will definitely be a big help.
Yeah, I think there were actually street names closer to sort of the city center that you could use to at least get the right street that you went to the city center with. But I think Raidman's got it right
BOKSA is in
here.
the same spot as well. So maybe one final spin around from both of them here before they confirm. You can see they're both going to be pretty happy with that.
It is a bit tricky because there is actually a road on the map that isn't quite there.
I was about to say it looked like a T intersection, and it wasn't a T intersection on the actual Google Maps. But yeah, 1 meter for BOKSA being in the middle of the intersection is nice. I guess it is counting that small little road as a road, but it doesn't really look like that. And that's giving Raidman a bit of a second thought. Is it this one or that one? But he'll go with it. Both 1 meter and aces for them. So a little bit tricky in the sense that we did see around here. We talked about the beginning of the show, Calamity, where the map might not be exactly what you see, but both of them able to suss that one out.
Yeah, and they still both had plenty of time, and rounds like that are always a bit easier just mentally if you know you still have like 45 seconds to confirm if you need them. Like if you get that and you've got 5 seconds or 10 seconds left on the timer, you might be more prone to just panicking and being like, well, there's no road there, it has to be somewhere else. And I mean, if you can stay level-headed, you'd still leave your pin there, but we've seen people get a bit crazy in those last 5 seconds, so always good to have a bit of a buffer there.
Nice. Well, we'll jump into round number 3 then. Still no points separating these two, but Raidman definitely looking the faster one on his home map. There's a couple small village names. The intersection to the north, that'll be helpful. Railroad tracks to the northeast, and there's a town entrance sign.
Yeah, this is definitely a round that could have been a difference maker if, Raidman had gone a different way from BOKSA, but there's
Mm.
Machinkovic, so, well, that chance is gone now.
Yeah, both of them heading straight into town, seeing those town entry and exit signs.
I think there was a river as well at the starting point,
Mm.
so it shouldn't be that difficult to pinpoint either.
Yeah, they've got a town, they've got railroad tracks, nice T intersection. That'll be plenty for these two to be able to figure it out. There we go. That looks perfect.
Yeah.
There's river, railroad tracks, that T intersection just to the east of the town. And again, BOKSA really wanting to do some sightseeing. There is the town, makes it all the way in.
Yeah, that's going to be much more useful from Rockwaven or to opposite directions. And he may still remember the 94 from round 1 because it is the road that went out of Rocklav that he saw there. So not too difficult for him. And
Both
with
of
the river
them.
there.
Yep. 14 meters away for BOKSA. Raidman going to spend a few more seconds to make sure this is exactly it. That river just to their north. Very nice. 1 meter away. Very nice pinpointing. You can see that Raidman did play after BOKSA. He's at least keeping tabs on his opponent throughout this one, but so far, nothing he can do about it. BOKSA has a perfect 3 rounds.
Yep. And BOKSA has made up a little bit of time in the past 2 rounds, mostly just, I'm going to say, about 20 seconds in total. And I think he lost about a minute or even slightly more than that in round 1. So he's still behind on time, but he's come slightly closer at least.
Okay, into round number 4 then. Let's see if this one, now Calamity. Long, straight highway, middle of nowhere. This is make or break time for BOKSA. Really, the pressure is on him to do it because Raidman's already a map up.
And I suppose it is kind of what you see in one sense on the side of BOKSA because it gives you a little bit of a chance for Raidman to drop points. But if there's anyone who's been consistent at finding the right spot on long straight roads, it's been Raidman. So, yeah, we'll see. But they've got signs here. It shouldn't be too difficult of a location to find in general. So they should both have plenty of time to try and find the right spot.
Yeah, both of them in the neighborhood in a matter of about 30, 40 seconds. Not too far away from round number 2. And it's a matter of that. Yeah, looks like Raidman's going to try to do some backtracking. That's the intersection. We came southwest from there, so he'll work his way back up. BOKSA looking off into the distance, trying to judge where some of those buildings might be.
Yeah, you gotta do the same.
Do some triangulation. And they are pretty close in their positioning right now. They're going to make a little bit of an adjustment. Yeah, this is also really tricky. Kind of hoping that the buildings are where they're supposed to be on Google Maps, and that you can judge those angles correctly. We do have a compass, so that does help. A lot of that is transposing what you see on the map, rather transposing what you see in Street View to the map.
It is at least a nice round in the sense that you do have plenty of buildings to work with. It's not like it's just one random building maybe out there in the middle of nowhere that you're not even sure if it's really there or not. You have a couple, but
33 meters. That is really rough. Even if you look at it on the map, it doesn't look like he's even that far off, but it does translate into 6 points being dropped. And, well, in the next 30 seconds or so, we could see Raidman really making a strong case for an 0-2 win, because he will spend the time. This is going to be really close. It could easily be Raidman just that many meters away as well. But they could both be dropping 5 or 6 points. If we can't go back and try to catch exactly on a more zoomed out view. There we go, where he actually guessed. And nope. It doesn't get Raidman. Unbelievable. Pulls it out 5 meters away, really besting BOKSA in that pinpoint, and he can see it on his screen right there, Calamity. That will be making him feel really happy. He's definitely feeling like he's going to be taking this championship back from BOKSA. Now we still got a round to go. Not done yet, but 6 points is a mountain to climb when it's these two in only one round, Calamity.
Yeah. BOKSA needs Raidman to make a mistake in the last round, and on average, you're just probably not going to get that from him. So it's going to be difficult to make that back. It's just a bit unfortunate. I mean, probably if Raidman gets a 5K in the last round too, you're probably looking at a Raidman win anyway, but still just 33 meters away. So essentially it was like 9 meters away from getting a perfect score in that round. And those are very, very fine margins and just takes a little bit of luck as well. I mean, there is still more skill involved in a round like that than like the average viewer might think. You can do a lot with the buildings that they had seen. But at the end of the day, when you're like 9 meters is maybe about like a millimeter or two, depending on how far zoomed in you are on the map. So it's really, really small margins here. But Raidman just in that case slightly better and got the 5K.
Yeah, like you said, it really could have come down to BOKSA not zooming far enough into the map when he picked his spot, and the map kind of saying, okay, well, this is where you clicked, and not as fine of a kind of pinpoint as he would have liked. That's the reason why you take every second you've got. And Raidman using more time, but that so far has paid off in the sense that he is 6 points up going to the final round. Now, here we go. Another straight road, not a whole lot around. So there is a bit of an off-ramp and a parking area, not too far to their northwest, and there's a town name. This one shouldn't be hard at all, and yeah, BOKSA was hoping that Raidman make a mistake. This is probably not the round he would have wanted to see.
Yeah, unlikely. I haven't actually got a clear image of the starting point in my head anymore, so I don't know quite how difficult it might be to pinpoint. But
They
it
both just
seems
headed
like
off, yeah.
It seems like a location that shouldn't be too difficult to get in general.
There's a road number as well, which will help BOKSA start to try, Raidman actually, sorry, to start to try to find that town name they've got. Look along that road number. There's the village. BOKSA having a little bit of trouble with some black coverage, but not giving him too much to worry about. Again, he is going to go further afield of that starting location than Raidman to get that win. And there you go, Clem. You can kind of see it right there. Not a whole lot along that road. A few features, a little bit of a bridge. That's what you can call it. It does have a guardrail, so it must be something.
Yeah, there's probably a small little stream going under it.
Drainage ditch.
There are a few buildings around, but yeah, I think probably the one to the northwest is the closest that they can sort of use to pinpoint with. It's not very far away, but it's still not easy. I think the one Raidman just hovered his mouse over is that specific building. And then you're just trying to somehow make good estimates on how far away those curves are. I think he traveled quite some distance to get to that curve to the south, so he should know roughly how close he is to the building.
And as you mentioned, that Raidman does, BOKSA, does pick out that building along that road. So he's going to be using that to try to judge. But again, this is a pretty featureless 50-meter stretch of road that you got to pinpoint on.
Yeah.
And the moving combine harvester, probably not the best thing you want to use to help yourself pinpoint, but there's those small buildings way off in the distance. Come back, check that road direction. Really got to make it worth every centimeter. And you can see how much further out he's trying to pinpoint than Raidman. He's really not zooming in that far, and maybe he's thinking this will be within that 25-meter range or something, but a bit of a gamble. I mean, there's a whole lot more to zoom in. They will guess at the same time, and it will be good enough for them both. An ace, meaning that unfortunately for BOKSA, that will be the end. He is defending his title defense, and the trophy heads back to Poland with Raidman after one season of it being in Germany with BOKSA. Raidman claiming it on an 0-2 clean sweep for them, so they didn't even need the decider map. But yeah, definitely. If you looked at the scores, Calamity, you would have thought, oh well, yeah, Raidman won. But you watch these rounds kind of play out, and two very difficult rounds in Poland, a tricky round with a weird roundabout in Germany. So definitely not the easiest of seeds, and yeah, Raidman the better one at this pinpoint on the day.
Yep, definitely could go either way. Just yeah, slightly better on the day. Definitely Poland even more so, slightly luck based, I suppose. But yeah, at the end of the day, just got to be closer, and Raidman was closer today.
Definitely. We'll take a look then at their scores from the rounds. You can see there again, 9 perfect rounds from them, coming down to round 4 in this case. BOKSA dropping 6 points, 10 points total across 2 maps, but unfortunately that is more than enough in this one to cost him the title defense. But don't go anywhere. We will bring you our third map, the AI world. So we'll get to see lots of wonderful locations from all around the world and see how they do in that one as a bit of a bonus cast for you all after this long season. We'll see you in a bit. Okay, well, yeah, a bit of a bonus coverage here. We don't need this one. Raidman does take it in 2 maps. But yeah, they played it. They recorded it. Why not cast it? Why not show it? And enjoy a bit of a victory lap here for Raidman in some beautiful AI-generated world locations. So yeah, we won't spend too much time on this. We'll just jump right in to round number 1.
You say beautiful.
Well, then I see this and I go, oh, great, Caster's Curse, right? Oh, check out a beautiful world and let's get a dry, dirt, dusty road in the middle of nowhere.
Yep. You do at least have sort of the ocean as far as I mean, it could be a very big lake or something like that, or just a sea. I don't know. But you have water to the east, so you have at least something there to work with.
Yeah. It's sort of a kind of Eastern European feel to it, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I would say somewhere in those Balkans kind of area, but we haven't really seen a whole lot. So
true.
Maybe hold off on judgment for a little bit longer. Want to get pigeonholed too quickly. Keep your mind open because you never know what you might see. This could be around. Just takes us 3 minutes just to get to somewhere. BOKSA's internet playing a little bit nicer right now, at least.
Yeah, Raidman's struggling a bit with the movements. And there is a building. Well, what is that? From behind, it looks a bit like a fox or something like that.
Coyote sign or something. That's what I would say, but
I doubt there's coyotes around here.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. Coyotes aren't in Europe?
I don't think so.
Yeah, they're native to North America only.
You have the city name for both of them.
And it's on the coast, and it is in Cyrillic.
Yep.
Yep, coyotes are native to North America, so they would not be. Maybe a wolf then.
It could be, yeah. Neither of them turned around to actually look at it, so
to bother to look at it. Not that important. Who cares about the wildlife? Looks like, yeah. Checking out the coastline of
BOKSA.
Bulgaria.
And Raidman's just about to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them starting at the south.
Now we are, at the end of the road, at least end of coverage. So difference between white and gray might be a good sign.
Another interesting thing there to point out is that you can see that Raidman's browser is a little bit more zoomed in. So writing appears bigger on his map, which can both be an advantage and a disadvantage depending on what type of round it is, because while it shows up bigger, it also shows less in total, so you have less of a cutout of the image or of the map on your screen at any time, but it can make it easier to spot city names sometimes.
So both of them looking at that same little stretch of road, and well, thankfully we're on a world map because 117 meters is still good enough for a perfect score, 53 meters away from BOKSA. Yeah, much different than we had on our last two maps. I was about to say 117 meters. He dropped points. No, he didn't.
No, he
we're
didn't.
We're on a world map again, so nothing to worry about. Good enough, and thankfully on that dry, dusty road, all you need to do.
Yep, it is. And again, as it will most likely come down to time anyway, if they both manage to 25k rounds, the 60 meters difference there probably not going to be too big of a deal. And I think they were both letting it come down to the last second for time to run out. So in time, they're still equal.
Okay, we'll jump into round number 2 then. We're on the other side of the world. We've got lots of Spanish.
You might find some coyotes around here.
Yeah, that's won't try to pronounce it, but that's definitely, oh, there we go. Mexico. That's a very nice find. Yeah. Santiago State and the country. That'll help both of them picking up on it in no time. Actually, BOKSA a little bit slow. Rayman zoomed straight in on it, figured out that would be. He's got to figure out where exactly it is. There we go.
Yeah. And we've still 2 minutes 15 roughly on the clock. They should both be able to pinpoint this one.
Yep, there are street names on those buildings as they both look at those. And yeah, they're not too far from the stadium as well. That's going to be a really good reference point to use. Just down the road from it.
Yep.
And there we go. No time at all. BOKSA a little bit behind. Raidman, a perfect score, 3 meters away. An ace from him. Maybe, I don't know, BOKSA, did he not see the stadium? Because he doesn't seem to be using that at all. Maybe he did.
He had a look at it. I don't know if he realized it was a stadium.
Yeah. Even in Spanish, stadium looks like stadium. So.
Yeah, true.
Right there. He just going to spend his time looking for the street names, and there we go. Again, more focus on maybe that street name than anything else.
Yep.
Not worried a whole lot. There's a building right there. That'll do it. Calamity across town.
Yeah, well, I wasn't the most attentive during that round, apparently. I found neither the ambulance nor the street names, so I think I did quite well finding the city in the first place.
Yeah, there you go. You didn't see any of the good clues, and you managed to at least pick the town out of the country. Not bad at all. So yeah, definitely nothing to separate them so far. Perfect scores from these two after the first 2 rounds, and only a few meters. BOKSA, though, a little bit behind on time after that second round.
Yes, but it's still fairly close in that regard as well. And on a world map, with it not having the advantage of it being EVA home map, it's quite more likely to see some big changes in sort of the time, someone being faster than someone else on a specific round.
Okay, well, then we'll get into round number 3. And man, are we jumping all around the world on this one?
Well, we just jumped back to very close to where we were in the first place.
Yeah, we just like we got a return ticket and came back to almost the exact same spot. There is the Romanian flag.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just me as well, but I feel like Romania has one of the most distinct architectural styles of Europe, where it's just like whenever I spawn in on a round and I see some houses, it's like, yep, that's Romania.
I think they just have so many fences and gates. Everything is behind it. The distinct alphabet and writing as well. You know your European languages, that'll stand out.
Yes.
There is a road stone marker there with the number on the top. If either of them bother to look at it.
It would help, I can tell you that much. But if they don't want to, I mean, they're not forced to.
Yeah. There's the town name for Raid Man.
Mm.
And again, south out to the middle of nowhere, and he is going to go venture out there. So, I mean, you watch the professionals play, and you realize, like, really, you're going to find something out there? But how fast and how good they are, I can afford to take a little bit of a detour, I guess.
Yeah, and it's not always the right decision either, but you kind of don't know in a lot of scenarios. Like, there could just be a big sign that's like, hey, Bucharest is 10 kilometers that way, just outside of town in that direction. And there's
Probably
another
what they're
marker
looking
stone for
for.
BOKSA. Please look at it.
There we go, 51.
51 is the kilometer,
Oh,
actually.
64 on the
64 is
side.
the
There we
road
go.
number. Yeah.
Help him adjust. There, that's a pretty good sign, though, for Raid Man. This is probably what he was looking for, something like this.
Yeah, that should give him everything he needs.
Yeah.
Bagashani and
Just under a minute
Karaskat,
left.
I think it was. Karaval. Yeah.
Yep.
There we go.
He knows where to
Both
look in
them.
between. He knows the town name. Jump back. Off on that side road. They're both there. Literally moving their pins a matter of seconds apart. Yeah, and that hotel at the end of the road could be a very nice reference point as well. It's about getting which building you're next to. That's the best bet. You gotta hope that they're correct. Google is doing their due diligence here. Shape looks right, number looks right. It is good for BOKSA 29 meters, so not quite. We are in front of a building, but there's no building on the map, so
yeah, that would have been very difficult on a map where you need to be within 24 meters, but on a world map should be fine here.
Yep, no problem. Yeah, Raidman doesn't even bother to put us on the road, but he is only 5 meters away, so 3 perfect rounds out of all of them. But again, I don't think they've really been tested on this map so far. Pretty nice clues. It's even Mexico, which you would think would be a horrible country to be dropped in because you don't always have the best information, was pretty nice to them.
Yeah, if anything, Bulgaria was the more difficult round so far, but they both clocked that fence had the city name on it. I mean, if you don't see that, then you might be in for some trouble there. But as they both did, makes it quite a lot easier again.
Well, yeah, just keeping things moving along into round number 4. And yeah, welcome to Down Under.
We're moving across the world again.
Yeah, we are. Definitely racking up those frequent flyer miles.
Let's see if they both paid attention during the regular season, if they kept in mind what is what in Australia, essentially.
Yeah. Telephone poles, license plate meta.
Plenty of yellow license plates. Should be obvious enough that we're in New South Wales. But from there on, it can be pretty difficult to find your exact place. Yeah. Welcome to Coles Budgewoi. That might be the city or town name.
Boy.
Yep.
Newspapers.
News Power.
Will help.
Yep. That guarantees it pretty much. Now you just gotta find it.
Maybe the tricky part. Sydney has plenty of suburbs, town names. Could throw you off. Got to find it along the coast there. Is going to keep scanning.
Raidman's found plenty of mentions of the town as well.
Down to a bit of map skimming. That name. Oh, there we go. Nope.
Not it.
Looked really similar, so caught me and BOKSA off guard there for a second.
Well, it's a nice bridge that Raidman's crossing. Could be helpful for pinpointing.
Yeah, Raidman going to continue to travel. Find some very nice signs. A49.
Yeah.
That'll help him.
Not sure why he's just looking across alongside the A1, but
yeah. He's actually got the road.
I think he's right on top of where Raidman just crossed the bridge.
Yeah, that's what I was Thinking, because he was looking at the A49, so he's at least got the right road. There we go.
Yep.
Raidman, not too far. And unfortunately, that street name is blurred out for BOKSA. Very maddening when they do that. I hate when you check like 5 different signs, they're all blurred out. You're like, I just need the road name. Just give it to me.
Especially frustrating when time's running out as well.
Yeah.
That should be readable. Boxes. The sandbox is looked at, and he's got a bit of a road direction as well here, so he should be able to find it, but he's only got 10 seconds left. There we go.
Oh, yeah, they're both in the same spot now. House or 2 apart, 2 meters though. And Raidman's going to let his time run out. He's 2 meters away as well. Perfect rounds from them. So they are very close after 4 rounds. I would say even in time. Probably Raidman after that kind of crazy guess in round 1 is a bit further away in meters, but as long as he's a little bit faster.
Let me check for you. Currently, Raidman is ahead on time by 34 seconds.
He could make this 0-3 in his advantage. That would be really nice. We'll get set up into our final round here and see if this one's going to be able to separate them at all. Nothing has so far as we get into this one. I think we're back in Poland.
Yep, we're back in Poland.
Yep, that's a Polish street sign. I did catch a glimpse of that numbering, so there we go. Well, Raidman will be really happy to wrap things up in this location. And they both head the same way, out of town towards nothing.
Interesting, yeah.
At least it would appear towards nothing, but
I would have definitely gone into town, but what do I know?
Yeah,
Might
what do
be
I
the
know?
better
I'm in
direction.
Division 4. So don't listen to me. I mean, they do hit the next town over, so nothing wrong with that. There's an exit sign, but oh, there's the name. A bit later on. Fox is not going to stop long enough to really read it too well, but
he did put a checkpoint down.
Oh, very nice.
Yep.
I can see that.
So he knows that once he finds something that puts him down to the pinpointing stage, he can just return to there, and he doesn't even necessarily need to remember the city name. The one thing is that he now doesn't necessarily... he moved his mouse to set a checkpoint and then just in time remembered, wait, I've already done that. So it seems like a bit of a muscle memory almost at this point. See a town name, put a checkpoint down. Would have been... I'm definitely going to say I have done that in the past where I've set a checkpoint, forgot about it, and then wanted to set another one and put me back to my checkpoint, and I was just...
Yeah, especially with 3 minutes. Oh, there we go. There is some road numbers.
Yeah.
Have to adjust. Poznan and the 11.
You are.
Now go back. Find that town name if you can't recognize it at least right away.
He knows he's somewhere between those two, and Raidman's just about to come up to that sign as well.
Yep, that'll move him all the way across the country.
I think that's what he just scrolled over BOKSA was one of the names.
Yep.
Yeah.
Raidman doesn't even need those checkpoints. He remembers everything. There's the town. Got to now backtrack to the actual starting location, which could be a little bit tricky. They are cutting it a bit close. Raidman, a little bit of a better idea. 4 meters away, though, from BOKSA. Very quick on that draw. He moved his position quite a few times in the last few seconds. Managed to pinpoint that one only 4 meters away. So he had a lead going into this one, Calamity. But he did take a slightly bit longer. So yeah, both of them finishing perfect games. And how much longer did Raidman take on that last one?
Just 16 seconds, which leaves him with an 18-second advantage after 5 rounds.
Man,
and that just about brings home the 3-0.
Yeah, so if he had even lost Germany, he had a whole game in hand, he would have been able to take it. winning on time in the final one for that. So Raidman really putting his stamp on season 5. Was behind all season, granted mostly because he decided to sit Russia out, but he proved that even taking a week off, he could still take home the title. So congratulations to Raidman on that one. And he is our first returning champion, not back to back, mind you, but he has won 2 now, and he's the first one to do it so far. So congratulations to him. And thank you all for watching this one. This one really turned out to be really interesting, really cool rounds in Germany where BOKSA dropped those points. Really controversial there with that map being a little funny, and some long straight roads in Poland, which really put them to the test. Raidman able to handle everything that was thrown at him. Well, thank you all for watching this entire season. We will be back with another season in a couple of months. And in the meantime, hit that subscribe button because we've got other competitions coming your way in the meantime. You don't want to miss any of those because they're definitely going to have some exciting finals just like this one. And we'll see you all in the next cast. Take care.
Bye.